Have a good day, Dr. Noda, and to my classmates. And I'm Athanasius Francis C. Catalan. I'm doing the presentation right now about the philosopher Immanuel Kant on religion. So I got inspired about this title from a Filipino American graduate of philosophy in Maryland. And they posted in social media, and it's nice to know that there is other people also studying philosophy, and it's also timely because I make a project about the philosopher Immanuel Kant, with an I, I'm sorry. So the Filipino lady here says, I want to stop philosophizing, but I can't. I know I'm copying, but uh, she did like studying philosophy and transposing the word cannot to can't. So it made me want to share to as many people that I study also with my classmates, and about philosophy of religions, to uh, be exact. The next page is Immanuel Kant on the importance of religion. Immanuel Kant describes the importance of religion as intuition, natural human intuition, to call upon a higher power when in need, and then religion gives strength to the weak. It gives them a sense of hope. When humans do not have anything to believe in, they put their trust in the higher power. So Kant also has studied religion and is, I think, a devout Christian, and the influence on people for years. So, as of my last assignment, I did mention that I'm a unificationist. Like Kant, we trust in a higher power. So in college, I read about Kirlian photography, the auras of objects and living things. So there's some kind of energy in them, in our fingertips, in the aura of a leaf below, and they know if you are sick or not. And Kirlian photography is a collection of photographic techniques used to capture the phenomenon of electrical coronal discharges. It is named after Semyon Kirlian, who in 1939 accidentally discovered that an object on a photographic plate is connected to a high voltage source. Okay, next. The most uh, life changing experience I had was driving for a brother and sister who have a studio in London, in Ordaneta, Pangasinan, for 30 days. So we asked permission to film the spiritualists there performing surgery, spiritual surgery, not physical. It happens in the chapel next to their house. Since going there every day for 21 days straight, where we can do video, I became an assistant in the chapel. The spiritualist uses the power or energy of the Bible I'm sorry, I have to make this bigger. And around the operating table, it's like 2,000 years ago. Saint Luke is the one, as I will explain it later, going through her and using her, to make spiritual surgery. So she uses a band paper even to see the body like an X-ray, and of course they use his hands, no instruments. But I'll tell you later how it's done. So the healing sessions start noon on Saturdays, and from 12 noon to 5 p.m. We write our names and our ailments and calls the worst cases first to the easiest ones. So I have sinus or rhinitis problem, or one nose is working only. So before, and I was asked to go to the elevated area. Later, I asked many questions about, the spirit world. If who is the Messiah? How will be? How will be a man with? It will be a man with Christ consciousness. The answer was, and I asked, well, can we give them the divine principle, and can they join the blessing? Eventually, the spiritualist became a spiritual child of our missionary from Germany. So she attended the blessing, the 360,000 couples blessing. So after the operation on my face, I have a cutout of a big leaf needed to be placed on my face, and it healed, and of course somewhat relieved and breathed normally. No more stuffy nose. Then the condition was not to eat also any fried foods, and no sex for 40 days. And the word, by and by means a lot of time in my country. So in our first day, we asked for permission to videotape the spiritualist in action, and we were told by and by, we want to make a tape, so a videotape. So we came the next day, and the days also when people are even as far from India cannot wait for Saturday, their healing session, and we were just observing, So eventually we see an operation, but no filming until the 21st day. So I asked what Saint Luke or Lucas, is he the one? And then sometimes, because he will always shout at the end of his prayer, using the medium at the end of the healing session, Lucas. So and I'm asking him what he's still doing there in the spiritual world. He said he is still a physician, just like 2,000 years ago. And how does he make an operation and many things, How does he cut, the stomach and all these organs? So I try to even rationalize it or philosophize it, and saw this video also later on about ultrasonics, using ultrasonics to make screwdriver handles. So it liquefies, and then it goes in, and then once it hardens, it's already, it becomes the handle. And I also read about Reverend Sanghan Lee, that in the spiritual world you can ask any person to come in, in front of you, and a deaf person, a blind person will be in front of you. And I asked also about the instruments. So the scalpel or scissors will just show up, in the hand of Saint Luke, who is operating on a spiritual body. So ultrasonics, by the way, is a sound vibration more than 20 kilocycles or 20,000 per second. Just like metal screwdriver inserts on a plastic handle, it liquefies, passing through it by sound alone. Once it's not vibrating, the metal is embedded on the handle, the plastic handle. So just like a spiritualist moves her hands, that passes through the skin, because we took a picture. I don't have the picture anymore, but it moves. You know, you cannot see it. It moves so fast that it's in, you know, vibrating in front of us. So in that experience, it solidifies my belief in the spirit world. I brought a Thai sister also that was having a thyroid problem, and she cannot bear a child because of the thyroid problem. But I brought her there for healing or whatever surgery she needs on her neck. You know, it took us 3 times, and she became pregnant and bore a child, and now 18 years old. And also I went there again with a French journalist who was healed because he was instead walking funny, you know, with a poor posture, and then almost sideways. And they even laughed, you know, because nobody fixed his issue after his karate tournament where he fell down. And eventually he can walk upright, and made those conditions not to eat, you know, fried foods, and they have healing oil also got coming from the chapel. And I do agree about scientific truth that will someday reconcile with religious truth. In conclusion, because of the above experiences, I believe that the spirit world exists. From a Catholic with Protestant friends and Muslims too, and now as a unificationist married to a Buddhist, using the divine principle to explain the cosmos, the spiritual and physical world. And these are my references: Sanghan Lee, The Book of Life, and inserts and bolts on the you know, screwdriver, and then the ultrasonic yeah well, the references, welder, yeah, that melts two metals together by sound, you know. So that ends my presentation today. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and have a great and happy New Year. Bye bye.